Hello! So basically today what I'm going to do is a tutorial of the makeup that I do on a regular day. I've been super tired all the time, so I'm not super creative with the eye looks right now. I'm going to explain how I do my brows because a lot of people ask me about that. I mean, honestly, even in real life. And I haven't done a brow tutorial in probably 2 or 3 years. And then I'm going to explain my current face routine that has changed a lot over the last couple of years. So yeah, I haven't filmed one of these in a while. There are some products I'm not going to be saying what I use because I bought them and then like I found out the brand's full of crappy people, so I don't want to give them money. Everything I do like that I use or that I support the brand, I will show and also put in the description. So I'm gonna start off lip balm because it's winter and we need some of that. This is the Mario Badescu Mint Lip Balm. I haven't had a lip balm with this kind of I haven't had a lip balm with this kind of applicator in years, and it literally gives me like 2009 Webkinz lip gloss vibes. Love it. Most important thing, of course, is brows. So I used to use the KVD Super Brow, and I didn't want to spend another $20. So I got the Morphe brow pomade. This one is $6.99, I believe. And the shade is Cold Brew. I will say it doesn't last as long as KVD, but it's got a really nice texture, pretty good coverage, so, and the color's the same. I have been kind of experimenting with brow shapes lately, but in general I do the same process every time. You're gonna start, oh, and I shave like half my brows off because I draw them higher than they actually grow. So my natural brows grow about here, and I will draw them more like up here. More lid space. Also, like back in 2018 when I started coloring my own hair, I didn't want to bleach my eyebrows, so I started shaving them so that I could do blue and not have it be as difficult to cover up the hairs. And then I was like, I can make them whatever shape I want now. Just kind of lift your face. I would say brows is more important to me than contour as far as changing my face shape. I feel like my face is very oval and very flat, and this kind of gives it more dimension. I'm basically just following the underside of the hair I do have left, and then I'm just gonna keep going the same angle, and it'll create that higher up lifted look. And you could do it with an arch too, but I'm doing a straight brow right now. Also, I don't know why, I don't know if it's just my face shape, but I feel like they look arched no matter how I do them. And then the top, I just follow the line again of the hair I already have and just taper it down. And then I'll go back and like kind of go back and forth over the hairs in the middle just to fill in any gaps. But I completely leave the front alone. I'm always surprised when people like can't tell that I draw on my eyebrows because I literally draw like half of them on. But that's probably why. I don't make the front super intense. I literally don't put any product on it. I just brush up. I'm actually surprised this turned out well on the first try, because lately I've been having so many issues where I'll have to use so much concealer to fix my brows. This one actually looks okay. And then I just brush the hairs up and kind of fade this front part into the natural. So I don't add any products, but if any like fades over, that's fine. And then just kind of blends it in more. And then I just take some concealer underneath. And the concealer is also my eyeshadow base usually. I have used eyeshadow primers before. I don't know, I'm not a fan of the texture of any of the ones I've tried. And I'm pretty picky about my colors in general. So when I'm like, oh, this like underneath my eyebrow is like 10 shades lighter than the rest of my eyelid. Like, I'm not a fan of that. I don't really change the shape too much when it's a good day. When it's a bad day, we're doing a lot of cleaning up. I just like to follow that line, make sure it's nice and sharp, and then any extra product will just get wiped away. I'm sorry if you can hear my fiance in the background, by the way. I'm filming this on my phone. So if you can hear the Fortnite shenanigans in the background, welcome to my daily life. So then for the top of my brow, a lot of people will just do concealer on top as well. I don't like how that looks. So what I do is I take my foundation, and this shade is the Tarte Face Tape in 35N. I take my foundation, this is the travel size, because I'm broke right now. And I will just use that to clean up the top, kind of a barrier, because I use brushes for my foundations, so I don't like to use them too close to my eyebrow in case it smudges, because I'm uncoordinated. I don't really like that look where it's like highlighted all the way around the brow, so this, you know, cleaning it up and having it still match and then the bottom be highlighted is my preference. And I just bring it down to where the bottom is as well. And then this part where my hair grows like super close to where I draw it, that's just done. I don't even try to fit my foundation brush in this tiny little space. And I will also come down the front and use this shade to blend my inner corner with my bridge. Because again, I don't like it being super highlighted all the way around. And it's a little easier to use a smaller brush than my foundation brush. This is just like a random Real Techniques brush from one of those 4-packs. And I just pat everything together. I think this gives more of an even blend and also more coverage to pat instead of like swirling it. I just like to blend. I don't know, I feel like a lot of people wait to blend until the end, but I'm always like, it's gonna dry and then it's gonna get streaky, so I just blend right away. And then blend into the inner corner, blend the base. And that way it's like a smoother transition between the light shade and my foundation shade. Like, I feel like sometimes when people do the full concealer thing, it almost looks like you're wearing a mask. Like a masquerade mask. That's okay sometimes, but we're doing everyday makeup here, and my everyday makeup is I don't leave the house, so. Listen, I'm pregnant. I am not putting in a lot of effort right now. So yeah, that is basically how I get from this to this. I'm gonna do the other eyebrow, and then we're gonna come back. We're gonna use the Morphe 350 palette for my eyes. This shade up here that I basically hit pan on, I'm putting on as my brow bone highlight, I guess. I don't really do the shimmery highlights anymore with that. I just kind of like the difference in color. Like, don't get me wrong, I love to glitter, but normally this is my base for my whole eye. But we're just not gonna do one today. We're just gonna wing it because I'm almost out of this shade. And we're going to take this kind of taupe shade all over the lid. And with a smaller brush, we're going to take this kind of neutral brown here. Actually, that one's a little bit shimmery. How about this one? And we're just gonna put it in the outer corner. Pretty basic with the eye looks lately. It's pretty much 1 or 2 colors. And then we're going to take this champagne kind of rose gold shade, and we're just gonna put it in the inner corner as a highlight. This is one of my favorite shades to use as a highlight. And then we're going to take the, is that literally just what it's called? Mascara. It's actually from the La Mosca and Amy Winehouse collection, so I am going to be doing a separate tutorial just using that collection and like my normal foundation and stuff. So that will be coming out soon. Are you okay? And then I have the Ardell Double Up 210 lashes. These have been my recent favorite. I'm not usually a fluffy lash kind of a person. I'm usually more of like a spiky lash kind of a person. But that requires eyeliner, and I don't got time for that. And then this is the brush on glue. I genuinely used to hate it, but now it's like lifesaver. What I like to do, I learned this from Rainbow Hair BIH on Instagram, like 4 years ago. I never used to wear false lashes, ever. The problem was I couldn't like get them to stay on right away, and then they'd end up lifting later, and I would just get so frustrated. So I think I wore them like 4 or 5 times before that. And then she basically was like, okay, what you gotta do is put the glue on and then do your foundation And that's like the exact perfect amount of time for the glue to get tacky, but not dry. So that way you can just pop them on. So I started doing that and I was like, because like the blowing on them thing that we all used to do in high school, not sanitary. I stuck my lash to my shirt, oops. I'm just gonna take my foundation, do a couple dots, and this is a medium coverage foundation. Now I've been seeing a lot of people saying not to put foundation on your nose, but I do not understand. Like I get that your nose tends to be more oily, so it's gonna come off anyway, but because I have some hyperpigmentation because of like acne scars, I just like to make sure everything's exactly the same color. Of course I put foundation on my nose. What if my nose has a zit? Just like that, she's done. You stay put, please. Of course, when I'm recording, it's like, oh, check out this hack, and then it just doesn't work. So my skin tone is super neutral, so I like to use eyeshadows to contour because otherwise I look orange. I used to use this brush for my cheek contour. It's a very stiff, straight brush. Now I just use a fluffy angled brush. My face has changed a lot in the last year, but also I just don't really care anymore, so. It's the same shade we used for the outer corner here. And then I'm going to take this more, I don't even know what to call that, khaki? It's honestly almost green, but we're gonna take that shade right on top. And using this brush, I have found actually makes it look almost more defined because it's so natural when you just have this fluffy, you know, light texture instead of a harsh line. Then we're going to take a smaller fluffy brush. And again, I used to use a much harsher brush, but this one is super fluffy. And we're gonna take this very pale, kind of grayish, very, very soft. I used to contour literally exactly the shape of my nose. And now the button contour, let's call it, where it's supposed to make it look skinnier. I don't know how I feel about it. I just got bored with my like normal routine last year, so I started doing it differently. And then I bring it down the side, and then we're gonna go underneath. And then we're gonna take a really, really, really tiny brush. Then I take the big fluffy brush again and just make sure there's nothing on it. I'm literally only moving this finger. And that blends it out a little bit so it's not so harsh, but it's still defined. Same shade under the eye. And then we're going to take this kind of flat top fluffy brush. We're gonna take all of these oranges, just tap, tap, tap. Tap, tap, tap. And blush the nose and the cheeks. I think orange looks more natural on me than pink, weirdly enough. We're gonna go back to this really tiny brush. We're gonna take our highlight shade and right on the tip, right on the bridge. And then we're also going to just bring the inner corner highlight down. I don't know when I started doing this. I think it happened on accident once and then I just liked how it looked. I don't really wear concealer as concealer very often. I just use it for my brows. So this is kind of how I like to brighten up that area because I ain't getting no sleep. And then we're gonna take this round brush, also Real Techniques. Same shade, cheekbones. Just added some finishing touches to the eye, but basically the eye look is usually just that. Sometimes I'll do the things, sometimes I won't. This is literally brown eyeliner, because I'm cheap. I finally hopped on the bandwagon. We're overlining our Cupid's bow. I don't really overline at all, but I started doing the like rounded shape. I have a really hard time getting it to be straight. Like I haven't been doing it for very long. And then I bring it down pretty far so that I can blend it better. It almost ends up being more of an ombre lip. And then Morphe again. I have a liquid lipstick. This one is Jealousy. Ooh, that's a fun name. This is just a pretty basic nude. I would say it is a good dupe for the Lolita lipstick from KVD. So that's pretty much how I do my makeup every day. The colors might change, the lip color, the eye colors, but this is pretty much my everyday look at this point. And yeah, makeup tip of the day, shave off half your eyebrows. Bye.
Till our shoes don't squeak, till our knees get weak. Digging in too deep, face dripping sweat, heat on our shoulder, sun beats. Never stop, we on the clock, our souls never miss a beat. On the road and on the internet, activism speaks, better catch a hater, stretch it for you.